I'm on a voyage through the heart of the Balkans, exploring the places that have grown up along the route of the River Sava. It's a journey through 4 countries that just over 25 years ago were at war. My trip started at the source in Slovenia and continued through to the wetlands of Croatia. This week, I'll be following the river to Bosnia and Herzegovina, and then east into Serbia. And meeting those who live along the riverbanks, who want to move on from the conflicts of the 90s and show us what their part of the world is really like. The cascading waterfalls and historic cities of Bosnia and Herzegovina, now gaining more international attention. And here in Gradiška, in the north of the country, the River Sava is on the tourist agenda too. It's here that the river takes on a new and important role as an internationally recognised border, because over there is Croatia, and on this side of the river is Bosnia and Herzegovina, where I'll be continuing my journey. It's a far cry from the beleaguered, war-torn image some might have of Bosnia and Herzegovina. During the 1990s, the river here was the scene of some of the fiercest inter-ethnic fighting, sparked by the breakup of Yugoslavia. But today, the people who live here are recognizing the river's potential.
Sam osjećaj da volite u rijeku. Prvo morate biti rođeni u ovom gradu, na ovoj obali. Rijeka Sava se ne može osjećati. Rijeka Sava se miriši. Taj miris kad vam uđe u taj pijesak i ta voda kad vam uđu jednom u nos, tad je zavolite i to je prava ljubav. To je ta emocija s vodom koja se ne može drugačije opisati.
During the war, the river was a physical barrier, separating opposing sides.
Pa posle rata mislim da koliko nas je rijeka razdvajala u toku rata, mislim da nas sad ponovo privlači, zajedno nas veže da.
Attitudes towards the river might have changed since the war, but the natural environment is still feeling the effects. Landmines and munitions were used extensively in the Sava basin, which not only proved to be deadly, but also polluted the water, and the problem has been compounded by industrial waste. But this group of young people are determined that their natural heritage will not be placed in any further jeopardy.
Every people thinks it's a war still in our country, but it's not. It's finished.
Thank you.
When we're the war or after the war, older generations didn't have time to think about nature, but now it's end, and I am the new generation that came with that sense that we need to help our nature, so that that same nature can help us.
Why is it important for you that the nature around here is protected?
We have non-used nature that tourists
it's
can...
potential.
Yes, potential that tourists can help us with that, because we need money.
So tourism could be the answer to
Yes,
unemployment here
yes,
amongst
yes,
young people?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Like everywhere.
How bad is unemployment here?
Very bad.
So tourism may save that?
Yes.
You think so? Yeah.
I think it's the only choice we have.
Just outside Gradiška, on the floodplains of the Sava, is the Badača wetland. It's been recognized as an area of international importance because it supports a range of endangered species. But it's also under threat as some of the lakes have been drained and ploughed over for farmland. It's an issue the collective want to bring worldwide attention to by holding a music festival here. Mirko was one of the DJs. What is it about
the land here that worries you and what's happening to it?
Yeah, the thing that worries me, it will all disappear. Oh, the lake, it was 11, now it's only 2.
Lakes?
Yeah.
So tell me then, what is so special about this area that makes you and your friends want to come here and relax?
Nature, especially nature, because it's breathtaking. When you look the sunrise and everything, it's beautiful. So we wanted to attract attention to Bardacha, and we think let's do festival. Maybe someone will, with the money, come and say, stop that.
More than 500 people from across the region came to the festival, and the Eco Collective plan to hold more events here in the future.
Some people might say, how is playing music with a DJ sound system helping the nature?
Because that's in right now. The festivals are in.
But I suppose what I'm saying is, people might come just for the party, okay?
Yeah.
They go, yeah, great party, and they might go not even knowing it was
When
about...
when they see this beautiful place, they will stay. We are campaigning for saving this land. That's all. Festival is just the tool.
And the Eco Collective aren't the only ones hoping to encourage people to visit this region. I'm heading through lush countryside to meet a man who wants to link up the whole of the Sava route by bike.
It's river. Yeah, it's downstream.
What is your grand plan for the whole stretch of this river?
Well, the grand plan is actually to connect, first of all, to connect people along the Sava River. It's connecting a few important cities such as in Ljubljana, and Zagreb and Belgrade. Well, once you know Sava River was a war line, we want to change this to become more or less like a lifeline.
Tiho thinks the plan could unite all 4 countries with a common purpose, and he cycled the entire 850-kilometre route with his team to show it can be done. There are hurdles to overcome, like areas with undetonated landmines. But he says if the route succeeds, the rewards will be immense.
This is just one of the ads that really could help people to, think about a mutual future, not divided future.
We finish our cycle ride in the riverside city of Brčko. Brčko's position on the river near the Croatian and Serbian borders means it's been strategically important for centuries. Its location also made it a huge sticking point in the 1995 peace talks that sought to end Bosnia and Herzegovina's inter-ethnic conflict by setting up 2 political entities within the country, one representing Bosnian Muslims and Croats, the other Serbs.
No one could agree which region Brčko should be part of, the Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina or the Serb Republic. And so they made a decision. It would be neither.
Brčko's been called Europe's only free city. In official terms, it's a semi-autonomous district with its own multi-ethnic government and education system. But achieving harmony hasn't been straightforward. For example, the local assembly couldn't agree on a shared memorial for those killed in the country's war, so they built 3. Brčko is a fascinating place to visit. It's been called a microcosm of the country as a whole, because here you can experience the culture of all the different groups that make up this complex nation. And that diversity is reflected in the music too. This band specialise in performing folk songs from all the ethnic backgrounds that make up Brčko.
Really good. Fantastic, Lemmy. How'd you do? Thank you so much. That was brilliant. Okay.
And tonight, I'm joining the band.
Can I ask you, first of all, how much of the music that you play is a combination of all the different cultures that are in this district.
Mi smo večeras svirali muziku sa našeg područja, odnosno svih bivših republika, bivše Jugoslavije, pa sigurno da je svaka republika ima različit melos. Međutim, mi smo ovdje na ovim prostorima uglavnom upoznati smo sa...
Of course, no one's pretending that Brčko is a utopia. It has a fiendishly complicated government structure, and there is lingering resentment about which community effectively has the most power. But on nights like this, harmony reigns.
All of us are mixed. There are Serbians, Croatians, Bosnians. We are all the same. I don't even remember if someone is that way or this way or anything. It doesn't feel.
Yeah.
Atmosphere is very nice.
And life goes on and music goes on.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, in that case, should we have a go? Not good. Power! Wow, that's such a nice feeling.
Next on my journey, I'm heading east along the Sava route to Serbia. My end point will be the country's biggest city and its grand capital Belgrade. But first, it's the city of Sremska Mitrovica on the river's northern bank.
Now, on the face of it, this city centre is much like any other in Serbia. But what's intriguing and surprising is that beneath my feet, beneath these streets, are the ruins of a former capital of the Roman Empire.
It was called Sirmium then. The Romans chose this spot because of its location on the Sava. The word Sirmium means flowing water. Most of the Roman city, including a colossal hippodrome, still lies beneath the modern metropolis, but some remains, like this huge imperial palace complex, have been excavated.
It was 1957 when the workers starting to make apartment building, and then these walls appeared.
Some historians think as many as 18 Roman emperors were born in the territory of modern-day Serbia, and that 5 of those were born here in Sirmium itself. It's a heritage this archaeologist thinks is little known outside of the Balkans, largely due to the period in the late 90s when Serbia was seen by some as a political pariah because of the conflict in Kosovo.
Do you think people are surprised that Serbia had such a Roman history?
I think that it is not so much known. For a long time we were isolated, and we did a lot during that time according to the protection of archaeological heritage.
And the archaeologists want the world to know about the incredible remains they've found here. They're using new 3D reconstruction techniques so that people can digitally explore what parts of this ancient city might have looked like.
These things which connect people, like Roman heritage, like these things which are similar and special to all of us, which makes us a part of Europe. And this is our joint past.
And Sirmium's incredible history isn't just linking present-day Sremska Mitrovica with the rest of Europe, it's bringing the region global attention. Beneath this field, just outside the city, is a Roman palace. Australian archaeologists from the University of Sydney have joined with Serbian colleagues to start the mammoth task of excavation. Stefan is one of the people coordinating the dig.
Potentially, we are excavating the palace of Roman Emperor Mark Maximianus Herculeus, and if it turns out to be a Maximianus Herculeus villa, this definitely is one of the most exciting finds in the world of European Roman archaeology.
The plan is to excavate the palace and find out more, but it's going to take years.
Anything I can help with here? You think I can do?
Yes, you may. In fact, you may use this thing.
What is
Shall I
this
show you?
Yeah.
It sprays the water so you can clean the mosaic stones.
Incredible, incredible. This is really pleasurable to literally, uncover and expose works of building and art that were, literally thousands of years old. Incredible.
And thousands of years ago, the Romans continued down the river to build the ancient city of Singidunum, known today as Serbia's capital, Belgrade.
This is Belgrade's most famous landmark, its fortress, the scene of many a battle during the last 2,000 years. And if you look over here, you can see exactly why. It's where our companion for the last 900 kilometers, the river Sava, meets the Danube, making it the most strategic point on our entire journey.
But today the fortress grounds are the venue for more peaceful, if still fiercely contested, combat. And today for some Premier League stars.
Lazar, how you doing?
Hi.
Now, you guys are professionals, but what you're playing is a different kind of basketball, right? It's a street basketball.
Yeah, it's still possible. It looks like basketball, but it's completely different sport,
How is it different?
It's different because you play in the half court, you play with smaller ball, and play 3-on-3.
Okay.
You get 12 seconds to try and score, and after each goal, the opposing team drives the ball out beyond the arc on the court and begins their attack. And I show them how it's done.
Oh, well done.
I've got a height disadvantage, but it doesn't mean I'm worse, because I can nip through underneath. Well, that's the theory anyway.
Serbia is ranked #1 in the world at the sport, which has just been added to the lineup for the 2020 Olympic Games in Tokyo. And if you want to catch a match at this venue, the season runs from August until June, and you can buy tickets at the courts.
Yes! Come on, come on!
The fortress grounds date back through 2 millennia of military history, but also bear witness to the more recent turbulence in Serbia. This weaponry was used against NATO air forces in the war over Kosovan independence in 1999. There's evidence too in the city centre of buildings bombed in that same conflict.
But the capital is not the war-ravaged, depressed city that some people might expect it to be. In fact, Belgrade has picked up quite a reputation for its hedonistic nightlife and cafe-lined boulevards.
The centre is a blend of neo-Renaissance architecture intermingled with the brutalist blocks built when this was Yugoslavia's capital. But perhaps the most distinctive features of the city are these things, floating jetties called splavs that sit along the banks of the Sava. Dina tells me how important the river is to the city.
I think it looks more like the Riviera than a river.
Well, yeah, basically, I mean, given that Belgrade is in this amazing geographical place, like on the confluence of Sava and Danube, like two great European rivers, this city basically lives by the river.
Dina works at a pioneering cultural centre in the artistic riverside neighbourhood of Savamala and feels the creative side of the city is often underestimated.
thing is, in my opinion, I believe that stereotypes surrounding Belgrade kind of move between two bipolar stereotypes. The first one, I would say, is the old stereotype of Belgrade and Serbia being still this war-stricken country. And the other is that Belgrade is basically this new Berlin, Eastern Berlin after the Cold War, so kind of like the newly found utopia for all the clubbers. And honestly, I don't think that Belgrade that Belgrade applies to either one of those, because the city is specific in its own way.
Dina hopes the city can start to shake the perception, held by some in the international community, that Belgrade and Serbia as a whole are intolerant to minorities.
We do have this legacy of retrograde attitudes towards minorities, but we must all keep in mind that all those things were in the past. In recent years, we have had successful gay prides in Belgrade, although with huge support from police security. But comparing to the first years of organizing gay pride, when it was almost impossible to imagine that it will be held, the things have changed a lot.
And the face of the city is changing too. €3 billion have been pumped into regenerating Belgrade's waterfront. It's a project that's been controversial with some locals, but that it's hoped will bring investment and tourism to the capital. It's clear that whatever the future holds for Belgrade, the river will still be at its very heart.
And so my near 1,000-kilometre voyage down the River Sava through the Balkans is complete. And what a trip it's been.
Ta stara slika često se javi, mi smo u čamcu, čamac na Savi.
I've seen how the river has been a crucial artery, stretching all the way back to Roman times, and how more recently it was the backdrop to some of the most brutal fighting of the 1990s. For me, it's been truly incredible to see how the river is now helping to heal the wounds of that conflict. And let's hope it continues to make new friends out of old enemies.
Sjećanja naša lepa, kao da su na kraj svijeta. Teče Sava, Dunav se prestrojava, od našeg divnog leta ostala je samo seta. Teče Sava, sjećanja naša lepa, kao da su na kraj svijeta. Teče Sava, Dunav se prestrojava, od našeg divnog leta ostala je samo seta. Ostala je samo seta, ostala je samo seta.